Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss about the immune system, the basic immune system in biochemistry and physiology. Then only you can go for the second year, third year. Then only you can learn about lot of misnomer conditions in our body-related immune system. What is immune system? It is the protective system of human body to resist almost all type of infectious organism or toxins. Immune system means basic protective mechanism in our body to against the infectious organism and toxic. An outline of the immune system. Immune system is a complex network of organs containing many interdependent cell types. Interdependent cell type means there is a macrophage, lymphocyte, neutrophil, eosinophil, dendrite cells that collectively protect the body from bacterial, parasitic, fungal, and viral infections and growth of the tumor cells. You can see the network of organs of the immune system: tonsil and adenoids, lymph nodes and lymphatic vessels, thymus, spleen, and bone marrow. The organ of the immune system. The organs of the immune systems are lymphoid organs, bone marrow, thymus, spleen, and lymph nodes. These are all the main organs involved in the immune system. What is lymphoid organ? Lymphoid organ is responsible for production of lymphocytes and antibiotics. Lymphoid organ is the production of lymphocytes and antibiotics. It's primarily lymphoid organs are classified as a primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. First, the primary lymphoid organ is bone marrow and thymus. It contains stem cells in the bone marrow, either differentiate to give rise to B cell or they migrate to the thymus, where their development into various types of T cell is stimulated. First, the primary lymphoid organ is bone marrow and thymus. Bone marrow is the basic organ which produces the stem cells. Okay, the stem cells then only it differentiate into the B cells and T cells. The B cells and migrate to the thymus. In the thymus, it produces T cells. And coming to the secondary lymphoid organs. The secondary lymphoid organs are two groups: encapsulated and unencapsulated. Encapsulated examples is lymph nodes and spleen. Unencapsulated is mucosal associated lymphoid tissue which is present in our body. The malt is present in nasopharynx and lungs, and also the mucosal associated lymph node is in our GIT system also. Each of these secondary organs is concerned with a different type of immune response. Lymph nodes deal with antigen in tissue. Okay, these are all secondary organs. Okay, lymph node deals with antigen in tissue, and spleen deals with antigen in the blood. Mucosal associated lymphoid tissue system deals with antigen at the mucosal surface. Okay, further secondary organ is lymph nodes, spleen, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. Here, first, the primary lymphoid organ is bone marrow and thymus. The bone marrow stem cell further produce B lymphocytes and thymus cells produce T lymphocytes. The B and T lymphocytes is further enter into the encapsulated lymphoid organs and unencapsulated lymphoid organs. The primary lymphoid organs give cells to the secondary lymphoid organs. Okay. See, the primary B and T lymphocytes enter into the encapsulated lymphoid organs and also enters into the unencapsulated lymphoid organs in the secondary lymphoid organs. The encapsulated lymphoid organs I already showed, that is lymph node and spleen. The unencapsulated lymphoid organ is mucosal associated lymphoid tissue, that means MALT. The lymphocytes responds to antigen in the tissue. In the spleen, it responds to antigen in the blood. In the malt, it responds to antigen at the mucosal surface. This is the common immunological response. And coming to the bone marrow. The bone marrow, all these cells of immune systems are initially derived from the bone marrow by process called hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis is the production of stem cells in the bone marrow. During hematopoiesis, bone marrow derived stem cells differentiate into either mature cells of immune system or into precursor of the cells that migrate out of the bone marrow to continue their maturation elsewhere. Hematopoiesis in bone marrow. The production of stem cells, it is either mature in the immune system or it is enter into the precursor of the cells that migrate into the other bone marrow and continue their maturation elsewhere. In addition to red blood cells and platelets, the bone marrow also produce bone marrow. We already know bone marrow is the production of red blood cells and platelets, and also addition it with bone marrow also produce B lymphocyte, natural killer cells and granulocytes, that means neutrophil, eosinophil and basophil, and immature thymocytes. Prothymocytes also produced from the bone marrow. Coming to the thymus. In thymus, the immature thymocytes, that means prothymocytes, leave the bone marrow and migrate into the thymus. The function of the thymus is produce mature T cells. After maturation process, T cells that are beneficial to immune system are spread, while those T cells that might evoke a harmful autoimmune response are eliminated. Okay, T cells help to eliminate the autoimmune response. Here, the primary lymphoid organ tissue is bone marrow and thymus. Bone marrow, the stem cell in the hematopoiesis, it produces the stem cell and it produces lymphoid stem cell. Again, it differentiated into the P cells and pro-P T cell. The pro T cells migrate into the thymus. You can see clearly here. In bone marrow, it differentiated into the stem cell. The stem cell is differentiated into the pro B cell and pro T cell. The pro T cell is migrate into the thymus. Here, the pro T cell is further migrated, differentiated into the helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell and suppressor T cell. Here, in the bone marrow, and pre-B cell differentiated and proliferation leads to immature B cell with monogenic IgM and IgD molecules on their surface and helper T cells. Here you can see the pro B cell differentiated into antibody producing mature B cell, IgM, IgD, IgA and IgE. And in the spleen is a immunogenic filter of the blood and composed of B cells, T cells. I already told the spleen is immunologic filter of the blood. It acts against the antigen present in the blood. The spleen is composed of B cells, T cells, macrophages, dendritic cells, natural killer cells and red blood cells. Macrophage and dendritic cells are called antigen presenting cells. An immune response is initiated when the macrophage and dendritic cells present to the antigen to appropriate B and T cell. That means antigen presenting cells capture the antigen and then it present with P and T cells. In the spleen, B cells become activated and producing large amount of antibody. Okay. In the lymph nodes function as an immunologic filter for body fluid known as a lymph. Lymph nodes are found throughout the body and composed of T cells, B cells and dendritic cells. And coming to the main important cells of the immune system is lymphocytes, T cells, natural killer cells, B cells, and granulocytes or polymorphonuclear cells, leukocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, like that, and macrophage and dendrite cells. First, lymphocytes are white blood cells and are one of the body's main type of immune cells. They are made in the bone marrow and found in the blood and lymph tissue. T cell is the type of lymphocyte which develop in the thymus gland and play a central role in the immune response. T cell can distinguish from other lymphocytes by the presence of T cell receptor on the cell surface. The types of T cells is helper T cells, that is called CD4 T cells, which is mainly involved in the HIV disease, and cytotoxic T cells or killer cells or CD8 T cells and suppressor T cells. Coming to the natural killer cells. Natural killer cells often referred to as the NK cells are similar to kill the T cells. They can recognize and destroy the foreign cells, tumor cells, and even some infected cells. And B cell. The major function of B lymphocyte is protection of antibodies in response to foreign protein of bacteria, virus, and tumor. And granulocytes are polymorphonuclear leukocytes. This is the group of white blood cells. Granulocytes are composed of three cell types: neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil, because the cell contains the granules. These are very predominantly important in the removal of the bacteria, parasite from our body. If we have a parasite in our body, it leads to increased eosinophil count. If we have any allergic reaction, it also leads to increased eosinophilic count in our body. Coming to macrophages. Monocytes are become macrophage when they move from the circulation into the tissue. When they enter the tissue, they begin to swell, increasing the diameter. This cell is also called macrophage. Macrophage is derived from the monocyte. When monocyte enters into the tissue, it's increased in the size to form macrophage. They are often referred to as scavengers or antigen presenting cells. The macrophage secrete a special activating substance, that is interleukin, which promote still further growth and production of the specific lymphocytes. And coming to dendrite cells. Dendrite cells, which also originate in the bone marrow, its function as a antigen presenting cells. Antigen presenting cells are dendrite cells and macrophage. These are most different efficient APCs than macrophage. Dendrite cells are phagocytes in the tissue. They are contact with external environment. Therefore, they are located mainly in the skin, nose, lungs, stomach, and intestine. Okay, macrophage. Most of the lymphocytes like neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil, macrophage, dendrite cells are all phagocytes. In next video, I am going to show innate and adaptive immune system. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos.